in the chat box. So if you don't want your question recorded, then you can email it directly to teaching@senecacollege.ca, and that will be answered privately as well. Otherwise, you can put your questions into the chat box, and we will stop at regular intervals to answer questions. I've turned off audio and video just to make sure the connectivity works and the session can, proceed well. And so, you can put your hand up still, or you can put your questions in the chat box. So today we're going to talk about screencasting, what it is, and we're going to do some demos too of some tools that you can use, and also talk about general tips. So screencasting, for those of you who haven't done it before, I'm sure lots of us have, it's basically a video recording of your computer screen. So it will record whatever window or part of your screen that you've chosen, and then often voice narration is included in it. You don't have to do voice narration if you don't want to. And then sometimes system audio is also included in the recording. System audio are sounds that come from your computer. So dings and video audio and things like that that come out of your computer, that will be captured internally sometimes by the software. And we'll talk about which ones capture system audio and which ones don't. It's also known as screen capture or screen recording. So it goes by a couple of different names, but it's basically always just a video recording of your computer screen. So what's it used for? Well, it's perfect for demos. If you need to demonstrate how to use a computer program, for example, if you want to create a video about how to use Excel or how to use PowerPoint or how to use AutoCAD or some other software, then you can just record it happening on your computer screen and talk the steps out along the way. It also is good for navigating websites. So if you wanted to show students how to navigate to a specific area on a website, maybe they're filling out a work integrated learning form, maybe they're filling out some sort of financial document or something, or even just Blackboard, how to find the course information or course documents or weekly information for your sessions. Yeah, and completing a process is also good too. So if you need to fill out a complicated form, maybe you're teaching a class on Canadian taxes, income taxes, and you need to show them how to fill out income tax forms. I know that there's a system that does that too, and you can film that and record those steps as well. I've also seen some people use it as a combo tool where they will have a PowerPoint, they'll show a PowerPoint for a little while, and then they'll hop over to a video, and then they'll hop over to a live demo of something happening on a browser. And I had quite a few students in TEL last year do this, where their final presentation, we had to switch over to video very quickly in the last semester, and they decided to use screencasting to record that PowerPoint and then the live demo of the tech tool that they had chosen to use for their final project, and it worked out great. I also love to use it for IT troubleshooting. So if something weird is happening on my computer and I need to send that off to the service desk or to Blackboard support, I can use screencasting to record what's happening on my screen so that I don't have to send a full page email of, this is when I click here, this happens. When I click here, this happens. I can just film it and talk through it, and then I can send them the link to that video and they can help me troubleshoot. So that's one of my favorite ways. I've used it for many, many years. So we have some examples. Kevin, did you want to take over and show some examples of how you use screencasting? Okay, I thought it was just me that couldn't hear Kevin. I was having audio issues earlier too, so I thought, uh-oh, am I going to have to leave and come back? So Kevin's just going to work on his audio issues. While he does that, I can go through and talk about some of the tools that we're going to use too. So we'll come back to the examples. I do want to mention that there are a million different tools out there that you can use for screencasting. And it's really just about what your favorite one is going to be, what's going to work best for the type of videos you want to create. I've been screencasting probably for about 12 or 13 years, and I have switched tools, every year or so. Something new gets released, it's a lot better than what I used to use, and so I change my approach and I go with that new tool. In the last month, I found a new tool was released, and the pro accounts are free for educators. And so I hopped on that right away, and I've started to use that tool. Is Screencast available through Seneca? We don't have any screencasting tools that we subscribe to within Seneca, and so it's always been a case of finding one that will work well for you. Some specific departments and program areas, they will subscribe to certain tools, but we never have had a sort of college-wide license for a particular screencasting tool. Oh, Kevin, can I hear you? I hear you now.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry about that. It's the inevitable audio issues. It was working great for before, and now it's not working, but we're back. So I'll be really brief to show a couple of examples of how I've used it, and then we'll get right back to the demos because I'm sure that's what everybody wants to see. Okay. Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay, I'll just share my screen, so bear with me for just a second. And I know you're going to get the tiling effect there, but just want to make sure you can see my YouTube account. Is Jen?
Yes.
Let me know. Okay.
Yep.
So here's one example, and I teach a math course, so I wanted to create some some walkthroughs of how to solve certain types of problems. So this was recorded actually on a tablet, and I'll just play it here. I'm going to turn off the audio. You can't hear the audio anyway as it's playing, but this was done, as I mentioned, on an iPad, and used a tool called Explain Everything. You can get screencasting apps for tablets, phones, computers, on the web. There's all kinds out there. And the Explain Everything is actually free for the education version, the legacy version of that. So it works well, has a lot of different features in there. So that's one thing that you can use screencasting for, so kind of like a walkthrough. Here's how you do certain things, mini lessons, so to speak. Another way I've used them is to show to students how to do certain tools, and in my math course as well. Here I am on the Screencast-o-matic site, which we'll come back to in a second when I demo it. But if I'm logged in, I go to my videos over here, and I've got, oh, I have to log in. Sorry about that. I'll be right with you as I log in. I guess it kicked me back out. Here we go. We're back in. So I've created some explain options. So here's an example here of a video preview of walking through the course, how to, etc. If I'm explaining to students how they will need to do something. So this is just an example of how to do that. And the other thing I did is created videos like how to do Spark videos. So I'm walking through a process here of how to create a short video in Spark, and you can see it's just a software demonstration. That's one of the things that Jen was talking about that you can use screencasting for. Okay, that's it. I just wanted to show you those brief things that you can do. There's all kinds of other options that Jen explained earlier. I'll stop sharing and get right back to you, Jen, and you can start the demo with Loom.
Thank you. So while Kevin was doing that, I actually went and had a look at my apps. There was a question about whether Seneca subscribes to screencasting. And Seneca, there are some tools that Seneca subscribes to that has screencasting kind of built into it. I've heard of people using something called Snagit. I'll put the name in the chat box, and that's something that you can access through my apps. I've never used it personally myself. And Camtasia is available through my apps. Okay. Wow, I haven't used Camtasia for about 7 years or so, but I used to use that back in the day. And I'm going to show you the tool that I've recently fallen in love with. It's called Loom. So loom.com. Recently, they decided to make their pro accounts free to educators. So after this COVID thing all went down, they decided to make it permanently free to educators, so which is amazing. All you have to do is fill out a form to verify yourself as an educator. So make sure you sign up with your Seneca College email account, and then you should be able to get a pro account. The reason I like Loom is that you've got the option to use the software built sort of installed on your computer, but you've also got the option to have a Chrome add-in. So you can add it in as a browser add-in, which means that anywhere where because I log into my Chrome browser, any computer I open up my Chrome browser on will have it there ready for me to use. And it automatically loads my videos to the Loom server. So if I'm just doing a quick little video to show somebody how to do something, I can just film it, it loads it automatically, and I just copy the link. And then you can trim, so you can do a bit of editing, which is nice. Copy the link, you can download the video too. So if you want to get the video out of Loom, you just download it, and then you can upload it somewhere for captioning. And you can also embed the video. And it's unlisted by default, which means it's not going to be found through Google. The general public's never going to find your video. It's only who you share the link with. And you can record system audio, which is a very valuable tool if you need to record the audio coming from your computer. And you can record your webcam too, which I never do, but if you want to do that, that's an option too. And it's unlimited time for videos and unlimited storage space for videos. So you'll find with some tools, they might have a limit for time. So Screencast-o-matic we'll see next. That's got a 15-minute time limit. This, you can make an hour-and-a-half video if you wanted to. I don't know if you'd want to do that. So let's hop into a demo of Loom. So I'm just going to share my entire screen with you. So you might notice a little bit of lag now and then. Whenever you share your entire screen, it can get a little bit laggy from time to time. And I'm just going to pull up Blackboard here because this is the video. I'm going to make a video of how to find your resources on Blackboard as you're coming into a new course. So I'll open up one of my course shells, class that's starting next week. And I have installed Loom. That's what this little rose kind of flowery symbol is down here. And this is the version that's installed on my computer. So it does give me a little bit more options here. I've got my webcam down in the left-hand side here. Looking at the angle of the webcam, it's not really good angle. So if you do want to do your webcam, you want to make sure your computer is a little bit up more so that you're not staring up your nostrils and so that you're actually looking into the camera. So you might have to prop up your laptop if you're going to be showing your webcam. For now, I'm just going to turn it off. So I'm going to just go to screen only. And you can also do cam only. So if you just want to record your webcam, you can just make a talking head video too. Now, because I'm using a Mac, I've got some options here for recording the full screen, so my entire computer screen, or just a window, so just my Chrome window or just a Firefox window. Or I can do custom size too, so I could draw a box around what I want to record. These features are coming to Windows soon, so if you have Loom installed on a Windows computer, you'll have these options soon, but you don't have them quite yet. And so if I just wanted to choose my window, I'm just going to choose my Chrome app here to record because I want to make sure that I'm maximizing the real estate on my video. So I might even want to sort of zoom in on this. So I'm just going to cut out of this for a second. I'm going to zoom in on my Blackboard course so that it's nice and big. Imagine students watching this on a phone. So they're trying to see it on a phone and it's really, really tiny. So try to make the font and what you're recording as large as possible. So we'll go back and I'll just choose my Chrome. There we go. So it kind of blurs out the rest of my screen. It gives me a little toolbar on the left-hand side and a start recording button in the middle. So I can just click on start recording and count me down. Hi everybody and welcome to TEL for summer 2020. TEL in summer 2020 is going to be fully online. So to find information about the course, you can visit the menu in our Blackboard course and click on Course Outline. This will give you information about the course expectation and guidelines, the course outline, our weekly schedule. To find the information for each week session, you can just go into weekly sessions and deliverables. Every week, I'll post all the deliverables that are due that week, and then all the modules that you'll be going through will be listed within that folder. A link to your BB Teach demo course will be in the menu as well, and this is where you'll be doing all of your work related to the Blackboard part of the course. So just a note too that you can use a pen. So they've got a pen built into Loom too. So I can come over here, I can choose my color, I can highlight things, and you know, they'll disappear after a little while so that they're not, you know, you're not marking up your screen and it's a big old mess. And then when you're done recording, you can either pause the recording. So if I want to take a break or if I forgot what I was going to say, I could pause it, or I can just hit stop. And in Loom, it automatically loads it right up to its server. So this is sort of the Loom dashboard that's right here. So let me make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. So on the Loom dashboard, I can click here and just click play to review the video. I could edit the title like that. I could do a couple of other things here too. So I could put a call to action on this video. Call to action is basically a button that you're linking out to a different website. So if I click on call to action, I can say, you know, My Seneca. If I wanted to put a link into My Seneca here, I could do that. I could just go and grab that direct link into my course if I needed to, and put that link in the call to action button. I can change the button color. If I wanted to make it a little bit more poppy, I can change the style of the button too, and then save. So what'll happen now is when they click on play to play the video, this call to action appears up here, and if I click on it, it takes me right to my course. So if you need to link out to something, maybe you're showing a website, you can link out to the website in the upper right-hand corner. It won't stay there the whole video, but it'll be there at the beginning. You could also trim this video. So if you click on trim, you can go in and start editing. So let's say you knew you kind of had messed up in this area here. You could put play the video to that point and then say start trimming. And then you get this little tool where you can pull it, you know, to each side to sort of shrink down what you want to trim or widen what you want to trim. And then you can say remove. And then maybe at the end, you knew that you recorded a little bit too far and too much, and you need to trim off the end. You could just say start trimming, and again, remove that piece. So those red portions are the ones that will be removed. And then when you click on publish changes, those parts will be removed out of the video. So I'm just going to not save that because it takes a little while for it to save. Oh, it's doing it anyway. So I can link directly to this video on Loom if I want to. If I just do copy link, I can email that out to whoever I need to share the video with, or I can put it into Blackboard. If I wanted to do embed this video, I could go down to share down here, and I could get the embed code, and I could embed that right into Blackboard or on a Google site or wherever you want to embed it. If I wanted to download a copy, I could download a copy of the video right here. And the reason you might want to do that is because this isn't captioned here, and I don't believe there's any opportunity to do captions in here. Might be something that they come up with in future, but so I don't, if I was creating this for students to share with students a lesson, I would want to get this somewhere where I could actually caption it. My choice of the day for captioning is Microsoft Streams. YouTube also does captioning, but I'll show you what Microsoft Stream looks like. It's an internal YouTube sort of like thing for Seneca. So anything you post into Stream is only viewable by people at Seneca. And you can even lock it down to a certain group at Seneca, or a certain person at Seneca, or a certain number of people at Seneca. So you'll see that Kevin and I, we've listed all of our webinars we've done in the last couple of weeks up here. And if I go into one of these webinars, and you can search and find these in Stream too. These are open to everybody at Seneca. You'll see that it does close captioning right here. Usually the captions end up over here, but I tell you, I'm having issues with my computer today. Let's see if I can refresh, and if that will fix it. Let me go to a different video and see if that works. I know that Stream's been overloaded lately. There we go. So we've got our captions in the middle, and then we've got our transcript on the right-hand side. And then you can go in and edit this transcript. If there's something not appearing correct in here, you can go in and edit it. Something that we discovered with a faculty the other day is that when you edit it and save it, you do need to refresh the page for the edits to appear in the closed captions. So just keep note of that. And so I would come here and I would just say create and upload my video here. So I would do the original recording in Loom, have it load up to the Loom server, that's fine. And if that's something that I'm sharing among colleagues or I'm creating something for myself, then I don't have to worry about captioning unless there's a request, and then I'm happy to have the video captioned. But if I'm doing this with students, it's always a good idea to caption it just from the start. And so I can click here, browse, go find that video I just saved that I created in Loom. And you'll notice under permissions, by default, allow everyone in your company to view this video is selected, which means that everybody at Seneca will be able to see this video. Or you can come down here, and if you've created a group already, you can share it with them. If you want to share it with specific people, you can share it with people. So if I went here and I put in Kevin's name, a lot of Kevins at Seneca, then this would share it with just Kevin, and I could deselect it from here and say, nope, just share it with Kevin. This is just for a project we're working on or something like that. Another thing you can do is sort of organize your videos by channels. And I've done this for the teaching and learning webinars we've done this past week, where I've got, different channels. And channel is basically another word for folder. It just organizes your videos. And once you load your video up, it takes a couple hours to overnight to actually have the automatic captions appear. So just, be patient, go back in, check. If something went wrong, just try uploading the video again and see if that fixes it. I know that happens in YouTube too. Sometimes you have to reload it. So let's see if there's any questions for now. 33.
Hi, Jen. Yeah, there's a couple of questions. One is about different languages that you can get the captioning in MS Stream.
Right. So I actually looked this up yesterday, and you can get it in English and Spanish, and that's it.
Okay. And I think YouTube will go do a whole bunch of other languages, right?
I believe YouTube will do a whole host of languages, but they might, if you're not, I think if you're doing auto captions of the language that you're speaking in, it should be okay. If you're doing translations into other languages, it might be a little suspect. You might want to check that with someone who's a native speaker in that language.
Okay. Amanda's asking, can you just not share, just save it for yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you want to load up something to my streams that you're just going to show to your students in the class, then you can just deselect. If we go back to this guy, so I'm back in my permissions, deselect, I'll boot Kevin out too. And so now I'm the only viewer of this video. And so, yeah, if I wanted to just save a bunch of videos here for myself to show in class, you could absolutely do that.
And that answered Ali Rez's question as well, to make the video private.
Yeah. And in Loom, you can also, so if you're not actually downloading from Loom to put up onto MS Stream, you can make the video private. You can just add a password on right here. So I could add a password on so no one else would be able to see this video unless they had the link, but also the password. So it's kind of two levels of privacy. Sorry about the mirroring. Where do you find Loom? It's just loom.com.
And Jen, there's one good question here about, all great questions, sorry. One from Adam asking about access to videos into where it's blocked by other countries. What recommendations do you have?
Well, and I think, Kevin, you have a good answer for this. I like the answer that you usually get for that.
And remind me, what was the answer I usually get for this one?
It's, well, there's certain things that won't work in other countries, such as we know, well, I know that YouTube used to not work in China for sure. So there's certain things we know for sure. But polling your students to say,
Right, yeah.
please let me know what specific sites or what specific technology doesn't work where you're located, and then coming up with workarounds for that. And teaching and learning is great to kind of bounce some ideas off. I had a faculty years ago who needed to get a video into China, and it was a promotional video that was being shown at an orientation, and parents were going to be seeing it and things like that. And so we tried everything. And mind you, this was years ago, so it might be different now. But we eventually had to do this like massive workaround and create a Weibo account and load it into there. So I think Blackboard definitely will work, I think. But some of the features within Blackboard might not. So we might have to come up with a workaround for that.
Yeah, and then one of the others is to download the videos if you've made them yourself and just put them into Blackboard directly, or send the video files to students through some kind of cloud service if they haven't blocked those as well, so students can access it.
Yeah, they had blocked Google and Dropbox, so that was an issue for us back then.
Okay. All right.
There was a how do you then share from Microsoft Stream into Blackboard? Yeah, so in Microsoft Stream, if you just go to any of these videos, so let's say this video here, this was from our session yesterday, so let me pause it because it automatically plays. Pause. So you have your video here. You can share it just from the URL up here. You can share from the share button down here where you get a URL for this, or you can get the embed code. I am noticing some issues with embedded videos sometimes in Blackboard. So always link. Link is sort of always my go-to, my first one, because that's usually gives us the least amount of problems. Embedding looks nice, but it can often be blocked by different browsers. And note that your students are going to have to log into Stream. So they'll be prompted to log into Stream, and it's just their Seneca credentials that they log in with. I'll show you the easiest way to find Stream. So if you're actually looking to use Stream, where is it? I just go directly to the URL, but it's actually a shortcut through your email. You can get to it. You can get a shortcut to all the Microsoft apps that we have access to. So in your email, you can go to this little sort of honeycomb menu in the upper left-hand corner. And we have a ton of apps available to us. If you haven't explored this, it might be worthwhile. There's things in here I use all the time, like Microsoft Forms, if you ever want to survey your students or anything like that. That's a great tool. Stream is also accessible from here. You might not see as many apps as I do because I use these on a regular basis. If you don't see them, just click on All Apps, and that will get you a list of everything that we have access to through Microsoft. You know, Microsoft Teams, Microsoft Sway to create websites, and then Stream is just right there. And so that gets you directly to Stream. And students might have to log in, or you might have to log in, and then you can just start to upload. All right.
Okay, I think we've got all the questions.
Okay, great. Did you want to take over and do Screencast-o-matic?
Sure. Give me a sec. I'll just do the screen sharing here. And there was a question from Marina earlier about how to add a Google Screen extension. So I'm just going to show that.
Okay.
Here. I just point out there's the My Apps link. I think, can't remember, I think it was Adam posted it in there, so thanks for that. And if you need to go and select My Apps, there's the login up there. So if you want to add a extension, and I was talking about the Screencast-o-matic extension, you can see up in my top here, there's the actual symbol for it, just very similar to the symbol that Jen showed for Loom that goes in there. But if you go over in Chrome to the three dots at the side and you come down to More Tools here, you can see that there's the extensions options. Click there, and then you can go up here and search your extensions. And if I type in Screencast-o-matic here, it'll come up in a second if I spelt it right, hopefully. was here just a
I
second
think
ago.
it's
No.
because you already added it. It won't show up. It won't.
Oh, I spelled it wrong. There it
Oh,
goes.
okay.
Okay, so there it is. It Castify. I always do that when I'm under pressure. So here we go. Screencastify. I've already got it added, so I can remove it, and it's enabled here. But you would see it as same kind of thing, and it would have a button down here to say add it, and you can just add it. It automatically adds it. There's no. It's a pretty straightforward process. And when you do that, you'll see it up on your menu bar up here. This is what Screencastify looks like as it starts up. And I won't do Screencastify today, but it's very similar to what you're seeing. You can do your browser, your desktop, a webcam only, microphone, all that kind of stuff, and away you go. And notice it's a 5-minute limit on Screencastify. It's a really straightforward, simple tool, so you could try that one if you're just getting started. What I'm going to demo is Screencast-o-matic, and I use this one a lot. And again, there's tons of tools, and you just want to pick the ones that work for you and that you're comfortable with and have the features that work for you. Okay, and I'll tell you that most of the features are very, very similar to Loom, but there are a couple of differences, and I'll point that out for you. So if I wanted to record something, I just come to Screencast-o-matic, and you can just Google it. It'll take you right there. I've logged in with my Gmail account this time, but you can certainly register with any other account you want to. I'm going to start a recording for free. There's a button right here called Start Recording for Free, and you can launch the free recorder. And I've just actually downloaded the recorder, and it usually pops up fairly quickly, gives you this little hash mark rectangle that says you're ready to go and start recording. And what I can do is just show you the different options here. You've got, just like in Loom, you can record your screen area that is bounded by the rectangle. You can record your webcam, or you can record both, and it depends on what you want to do. Notice the max time for the free version, and I'm only using the free version here, so my max time is 15 minutes here. That's a good and a bad thing, by the way, because it does force you to be concise, and a lot of the research is talking about students under 10 minutes. Keep your mini lectures, if there's no engagement involved, meaning it's just you talking, disseminating information, keep them to under 10 minutes. And so that forces you to do that. Size, you've got the option to go to a different size. Now it's giving me this 1280 by 720, which is a standard kind of aspect ratio on video resolution. I could change that if I wanted it bigger, smaller. I could make it whatever size rectangle I want here. That will work for me. I'm using the high definition as opposed to low definition, 720p, higher definition, I should say. And I'm taking the active window. You've got your microphone options here. And what you'll notice is that it knows the microphone that you're using, and it will display that a little, what do you call these things? Bar showing that the microphone is active and able to record. But it will, in the free version, you don't get the option to record your audio. Jen was mentioning there's two types of audio. It's a microphone audio as well as the system audio. And so if you need that, Loom will do that for you as opposed to Screencast-o-matic. So the other thing is just a quick look at the preferences they offer you. They do a good job of the preferences. So they give you things like an alternative pause hotkey, this Alt-P area here. So if I wanted to pause a video, I could press Alt-P, and that's great so you don't have to move your cursor over to the spot to pause the video, because sometimes cursor movements can get problematic if they're jumpy on a screencasting. There's lots of other options, like do you want to count down, and you say yes, and all those kinds of things. I like these preferences. I just keep them at whatever the default ones are there. Okay, so I'm ready to record. Now, in case of Screencast-o-matic, your recording options are at the bottom here. There's the record button. You'll notice here's another difference. In the free version of Screencast-o-matic, I don't have options to those annotation tools like you do in Loom. So if annotation is something you're interested in, then maybe Loom would be the choice that you'd need to go with. All right, here's what I'm going to demo this time. Remember when I showed you that little math how-to? I'm going to go with that for my recording here. I'm using actually a tool on my laptop called OpenBoard. It's a free tool. It does a lot of great things. It even does screencasting itself. So when I have students ask me questions in class, I go to the whiteboard, I explain things. Well, in an online environment, I don't have that option, so I need a digital whiteboard to go to. And what I generally do is put the question up on the board, solve it, or show them how to do it, save it as a video, post it to the discussion board or wherever I'm using it online. And I'm using this tool because it's made for math and other things, but there's certainly lots of other whiteboard tools out there that you might be familiar with that you prefer to use, but I like to use this one. Okay, so here's my question. I'm going to start the recording. I have to look at this question and solve it. So here we go. I'm going to start the recording. Gives me a countdown. Hi, let's explore how to round whole numbers and decimals. So here's a question. It says round the number to 9,365.07 to the nearest hundred. So the first step is to locate the hundreds column. So we'll see here that the 5 is in the ones, the 6 is in the tens, and the 3 is in the hundreds column. So what I'm going to do is select the 3 here, underline it. That's what I'm rounding to. And what you need to do is apply the rules. So what I'm going to do is look to the digit immediately to the right of the 3. And the rule is if that digit is greater than or equal to 5, then you're going to round up. Now, if it's less than or equal to 5, then what you're going to do is just stay the course. Keep the number whatever it is. So that's here we go. That's our rule that we're going to go ahead and follow. So at this example, I look at the 6, it's greater than or equal to 5, so I bump up the 3 to a 4. Anything to the right will go to 0, so the 6 becomes a 0, the 5 becomes a 0, the 0 is already a 0, and there's a 7. Anything to the left stays the same, so the 9 stays the same. And there we go. We have our solution. The number 9,365.07 rounded to the nearest hundred is, oops, that didn't show up well there in terms of writing with a mouse is really problematic. There we go, is 9,400. And I would obviously spend a little bit more time with this. I'm going to stop it now. I just click the button to stop the recording. So I've got my recording. Obviously, I might have to do that one again because I rushed through it, etc. But it'll do for demonstration purposes here. So when I'm done, I click this done link here, and it gives me some options. I can save it and upload it to Screencast-o-matic. I can edit the video. I can quickly do a share and upload it to things like other accounts, YouTube, that kind of thing. So let me just go and try editing. Okay. Now, to be absolutely honest with you, with the free version, and of course they always try to get you to upgrade, I'm going to say no thanks. There isn't much you can do. The only things you can really do is trim at the beginning, trim at the end, that kind of thing. But you can go through it, see how it went. Yep, I'm just going through. I know you can't hear it because of the we can't hear the system audio through Collaborate, but it's working fine. So let's just say I went through it and it's exactly what I want. What are some of the options? Well, I could upload to Screencast-o-matic. I could upload to YouTube if I have an account. That's perfectly fine. I'm going to just go through save as a video file to show you this option. So if I click that, let's take a look at the options we have. Right away, you'll know it's saving as an MP4 file, which is a very common video format and will work anywhere. You can upload these formats to as well back into YouTube or Vimeo or MS Stream, and it'll caption it for you as well if you need to do that. File name. So right now, recording 14 isn't very exciting. It's not very explanatory, so I might change this. So this is maybe a recording of my rounding. We go as an MP4 file. I'll change the name, and I might be a little bit more explicit, but that's good enough for now. This is a video on rounding. It's going in which folder on your computer. So if I browse my folders, it'll go and look to which folders are available, and it already knows that I'm going to my screencasting folder on my machine. So I'll just keep that and say that's great. That's where I want it to go. So it's going into my screencasting folder on my local laptop. I'm going to have the cursor highlight. That's that yellow thingy going around. That helps folks identify where your movements are going, so I keep that highlight cursor. Now here's a thing that Screencast-o-matic does, even on the free version. You have the option here to upload captions. So now there's a little bit limited, I'll show you here. I'm going to add a new caption. With the free version, the only captioning option you had is to upload a file, like a transcript, and add it to the video. If you went with the paid version, you have a couple more automatic type of options. So I'm going to go with the captions from file. And what I did here is I actually created a script, and I've got it right here, rounding script. And I'm just going to select it and I'm going to open it and attach that to the video. Give it a second to load up, and there you go. You can start to see the captioning appearing at the bottom of the video, and that's great. So I'm ready to go. I'm ready to save it, and then I just want to go and then save this file. I click on the publish. It's going to go through its process of creating the file, and I'll be able to download it in a second. Once it's finished, it'll appear in my movie section of Screencast-o-matic. I'll just come out of open board here. I'll just hide that. Still going, almost there, and we'll come into our Screencast-o-matic area. Good. Okay, so I could play, browse, copy. I'm done with the video here. And if I go into my movies, my videos, oh, I'm sorry, it actually went to my Screencast-o-matic. Yeah, that's right, I saved it to my folder. I forgot about that. Sorry about that. I'll just go to my folder here, webinar folder, if I can find it on my local machine. Oh, it's way up here, sorry. Desktop. Scrolling down to webinars. There it is. There's the screencasting, and there's my rounding file here. I can click on it and open it up and play it on my local machine and just give it a test and see. And it's got the captioning working at the bottom, etc. The other thing you'll notice here, and I'll just pause it, is with the free version you get this recorded by Screencast-o-matic logo added to your recording. So that's another thing to think about when you're thinking about the tools that you want to use. So that all worked out fine. I just wanted to point out another thing. If you did upload your video to have it go to the screencasting site, you'll see them listed here. And when you go to the video details, it's very similar details that Jen was pointing out. You have the option about changing the title, the description. You can download it directly again if you wanted to. You can add a thumbnail. You can add a custom thumbnail if you want to. You can make it public, password protected, or unlisted. And if I go over to the sharing option over here, that's the sharing side of things, you get the direct link to the video if you want to copy that and paste it into Blackboard. You can actually make a custom link. This is even available in the free version of Screencast-o-matic, and I've added a custom link to this how-to video here. Just clicking on that option. And I would then probably want to make the captions available as well. And it also gives you an embed code here that you can copy and paste into Blackboard, same as what Jen showed you with Loom. So there you go. That is a quick run through of how to do a screen recording using Screencast-o-matic. Jen, I'll stop there and see if there's any questions.
Yeah, so I'll work from the bottom up. Is there anything that Screencast-o-matic can do that Loom can't do?
So the one I showed you was adding the text captions. I don't think, does Loom not have that option to add text?
I don't think it does. Yeah,
yeah,
I think you have to get it out and caption it elsewhere.
Yeah, I think that's the main one. Other than that, Loom does like annotations, so that's kind of handy. Screencast-o-matic, you need to have the paid version for that. Loom has unlimited time. Screencast-o-matic has a 15-minute limit.
System audio too.
Yeah, the system audio is another good choice. So there's, again, what you would do is list the features you need for whatever purpose you're using it for, and then pick a tool that has that feature set and go with it. And you know what, more and more tools will pop up. Screencastify, I think, hasn't been on the market very long. You might even decide that's the best option for you. It's simple, straightforward. It does have annotation. 5-minute maximum though, so you have to think about these things.
And there was a question about, is there a keyboard diagram so I can show the diagram and tell the students which button to press? So as you're kind of demoing, say, press Shift rather than caps lock for capitals, things like that.
Okay. Is it built into Screencast-o-matic?
Is it built into any of the tools that we?
I don't. Some of them have. I know some of the tools have, like, because of math, they have things like a graph paper background that you can put in, those types of things. I'm not sure about a keyboard, but what I would do is go to something like Pixabay here, or Unsplash here, and I would just go and look up, is there a keyboard image that I could download, put it in up on a PowerPoint slide somewhere. I don't know if there's a good one here. Maybe we can find one that just has a keyboard, and then go with that, you know, and say, I can't find one right now, but I'm sure there
You can
might
even
be some.
use like a
Here we
little
go, right
pencil to
there.
circle
And
things. Yeah, there you go.
there's a keyboard, free one. You can download it, throw it into a PowerPoint slide, then capture your PowerPoint slide and say, click this Shift key right here, and then press the Y and the W, or whatever the key combination is that you want. That'll work.
And then Claire asked, in my app, it's showing that Snagit and Snippet are not available. It's only showing that 16 apps are available. Any ideas? I don't have a ton of experience with my apps.
So, so what's available and what's not available?
It says Snagit is not available. When I go into Snagit, it says it needs validation.
Yeah, there's some issues around that. I do know that Camtasia and some of those are available. I'm not sure about all the other tools. There's tons of apps. What I would do is then contact the IT support help desk and just ask them, do you need validation? What do you need in order to access these apps?
I know in a meeting yesterday too, we were talking about using my apps on a Mac, and they are slowly integrating as many apps as possible that people want to use on a Mac. It's not all, so if you see an app there and you can't use it for some reason and you have a Mac, then contact the service desk, and as soon as somebody asks for something to be integrated in the Mac side, then they'll do that. It's sort of on demand right now.
Okay.
So yeah, I searched in Camtasia and Snagit's there, but when I go to open it, it says it needs validation. So maybe I just need to download something. I know it's been asking me to download something and I just haven't done it.
Okay. Any other
One more
questions?
question up
Sure.
here is adding the Chrome browser extension. Marina says she can't add it in incognito mode.
Okay. Yeah, probably for security reasons. I think it's incognito would be your privacy mode. So it might block it from there. What you can do is go out of incognito, download it, and then go back into incognito and see if it's there.
Mm-hmm.
You could try that.
And then if you choose the screen plus the webcam, is there any special settings to show both when you publish? I think as long as you're recording both of them at the same time, it should just appear.
Yes, if you pick both and record with both and you publish, it will publish with both.
I know I just answered a question for another faculty on Collaborate Ultra, and it won't publish both. So if you are doing a Collaborate Ultra session and you're sharing PowerPoint slides and you're recording your webcam, it will only capture the PowerPoint slides. If you're only capturing your webcam, it will record that, but it won't do both at the same time. So that might be related to something she tried to do in Collaborate.
Yeah. Any other questions?
I think that's it for now.
Okay, I'll just share really, really quick because I know you want to get on to QuickTime. I'm back in Stream here, and if I go up to Create, there is the option to record your screen here. There's another screen recording option in Stream, and it gives you similar tools down here. You've got your webcam, you've got your microphone, a record button, and you have options around here. So I just wanted to point that out. There was a couple of issues with it the last couple of weeks. Stream has been up and down for various things, but check that out if you just want a built-in Seneca solution. Okay, that's it.
That's very cool. I didn't know that about Stream. I didn't know too you could add interactivity into your videos, so you can add like forms and different things into your.
Yeah, I just found out about that too. It's everything's coming up every day, new tools.
Yeah, I know. Everything's moving very quickly.
Yeah.
Is there
Go with what you know, though.
Yeah. Is there any way to remotely collaborate on a video with a colleague?
Okay, if you're creating a video remotely, one of the tools that I use, and I know you do, Jen, is Adobe Spark. It's not real-time collaboration, but if you both have, and we all have Adobe Creative Cloud accounts at Seneca, you can go into use like an Adobe Spark video, and you can create a piece of it and then share it with somebody else, and they can go in after your fact and add some more stuff to it, and you can kind of collaborate asynchronously on that kind of tool. So that's a good option there.
And you can search on Microsoft Stream for instructions on how to use Adobe Spark. Kevin and I have done a couple of screencasts on that in the last 3 weeks.
Okay, I've stopped sharing my screen now. Jen, is it back over to you for QuickTime?
Yeah, I'm just going to show sort of other tools that folks can investigate too if they'd like to. Kevin just showed a Screencast-o-matic, but there's also built-in screen recorders on various computers with various operating systems. So it's just a matter of looking at what operating system you have to see what's available. There's a built-in screen recorder in Windows 10. It's actually found in the Xbox game bar that's automatically installed in Windows 10. So a lot of gamers like to record themselves gaming and then they post it to YouTube. So they've integrated it into the game bar there for that purpose, but you can use it for educational purposes. There's nothing preventing you. Also, on a Mac, I can show a real quick demo of a QuickTime screen recording. It's a very bare bones, very simple screen recording, but it comes preloaded in QuickTime on a Mac. Also, there is a built-in screen recorder on Mac, but it requires the Mojave operating or version, which I don't have Mojave, so I can't actually show you it. But this is how you would access it through there. And also just wanted to point out that we added a bunch of general tips at the end of this presentation. I'll send out this presentation with the recording to you tomorrow. And just things to keep in mind when you're doing screencasts, like being mindful of pop-up notifications that might happen, or pop-up sounds like email notification sounds that might be captured by your microphone, or recording personal information, like maybe you have your online banking information open and you skip to it by mistake for a second. So just being very aware of what you're recording, and trying to record just what you need to record, but record it at a large enough size so that people can see it. And rehearsing is always really good with screencasting, because sometimes unexpected things happen and you're like, oh, I didn't think that that would pop up, or I didn't think that that wouldn't get captured. So I'll send that out with the recording tomorrow. I'm just going to share my screen again, and I'm just going to show you super quick QuickTime. And this is QuickTime. It's just for Mac, so keep that in mind. And this is one that I used pretty steadily for a couple of years until Loom came out. Screencast-o-matic was also a favorite of mine too. But when I started using a Mac and I saw QuickTime Player had this built in, I just switched right over to it. So QuickTime Player, it's a free app that you can download for Mac. And when you go under File, there's just New Screen Recording. And when you click on New Screen Recording, you can set up your microphone here if you need to. Otherwise, you just click the Start button. And I'm going to draw a box around what I want to record. And whenever I draw a box around what I want to record, I try to keep it in that kind of 16:9 aspect ratio. I wanted that widescreen aspect ratio so that it'll fit nicely into a YouTube box or MS Stream box. And then I just click on Start Recording. It doesn't count me down, it just starts recording, and then I can go in and I can do my recording. It's capturing my voice, it's capturing my screen, all that sort of thing, and I can click around and do different things. When I'm done, there's a little stop button that appears in my toolbar at the very top of my Mac, so it was right beside the Loom symbol up here. And then this pops up and it shows my recording. Very, very simple. And then I would just save that as my intro. And so I could upload that directly into Blackboard. I could just keep it on my computer. I could put it in Stream, but it's just a super simple way to get a recording done. And I used to do that a lot for troubleshooting in Blackboard and for IT troubleshooting as well. So just keep in mind that all of these kind of screencasting options, sometimes they're built into stuff that we use every day already. Like Microsoft Stream, I didn't know it had a screen recorder in it, so that's really neat. QuickTime has it built in. Xbox stuff has it built in. So you might be using something already that has that ability. Are there any final questions?
I don't know. I think we've got all the questions answered. Go ahead if you want to post into the chat area any final questions. We got about 7 minutes left in our session. If there's anything you wanted us to go over or check out for you, let us know, or ask a final question. So Cheryl's also a good point there. You can also record video when you're using PowerPoint.
Yeah, and they used to have some screen recording stuff built right into PowerPoint at one time. I don't know if they still have that. PowerPoint on my Mac is not great, so I never use PowerPoint on the Mac, but Yeah, Naomi says they still do. So they used to have that button right in PowerPoint where you could do it, depending on the version you have. Yeah.
And recording via your webcam. Yeah. Tons of options out there for you.
And keep in mind, screencasting is sometimes the quickest way to answer a question. So if students are asking you things and you don't want to write a 3/4 of a page email to them, a screencast might be your friend in that situation. Oh, it makes your file huge? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if you want closed captioning, MS Stream and YouTube are great options. Screencast-o-matic is a good option if your video is under 15 minutes. And I think you need your script too.
And you need to, for Screencast-o-matic, you need to upload the script. It's not automatic.
Yeah, MS Stream does a good job of closed captioning. Keep in mind though, MS Stream is only available to people within Seneca. So if you're creating a video that external people need to access, maybe you're collaborating on a provincial project or something like that, then YouTube would be a better choice because it would be available outside Seneca. Okay.
All right. Well, I think if there's no more questions, we'll let you go. I know it's a busy time. Everybody's getting ready for next week. Wanted to say thank you so much for joining us for these webinars, and have a great long weekend and a great start to your summer semester.
Take care, everyone.